Hey Best Moment Makers, it's Coach Alyssa here with Your Best Moment Coaching, and I have a tip for you today in case you're ever one of those people that gets really stuck when you're working on something. Okay, so I have an example for one of the things I hate, okay, is trying to figure out information about insurance. So this is totally unrelated to mental health issues, although it can make you crazy, guys. Getting on the phone to the insurance company, for example. So you might be You might be on hold for a while. You might get transferred to the wrong department. I mean, I'm just giving you examples from my life, okay? And so I get to the end and I've wasted like 45 minutes, and maybe the person that I finally get transferred to who can maybe answer my questions doesn't even pick up the phone. And so I end up leaving a message, and I feel like, where did the last hour of my life go? Okay, so that's kind of an innocuous example, kind of, something that's a little mundane. But this concept that I came up with really helps with everything, including, by the way, guys, if you have a kid who kind of freaks out when they can't tie their shoe, or when they are having trouble buttoning something, if you have littles, or an older kid who is really struggling because they're having trouble with a sport or something like this. You can introduce this topic to them, and it has really helped me and my family, and it can really help you and yours. So here's what it's called. I call it the timeline of trying, okay? And what I did initially is I came up with this when my son was getting frustrated about tying his shoes, or like putting his feet in, even just putting his feet in the right shoe. And he would get angry at himself. And I would say, hey, listen, this was a try on the grand timeline of trying. And so I wrote down on a little sticky note, like a little hash mark, and I said, look, this is this try. And so then next time we'll do another try. So I put a little arrow between the two. And then we'll do another try next time. And then eventually all those tries will add up to us meeting this end goal here, okay? So I did a little mock-up right here so that you guys can see it. But do you see how it's coming? You have one little effort here, and then that's your step. And then another little effort here, and that's your step. So all the way over to your end goal, okay? So what I decided to do in order to make it a little juicier for myself, to feel like it's just not just like this empty try that ended up in nothing, what I started to do is I started to put exactly what I did here on this line. So this one just says made a call. And then I put the amount of time I spent on it, okay? So let's use that for this insurance situation. So if I'm on the call with the insurance company, and let's just say I'm spend 20 minutes trying to get through to the right person, and maybe I leave a message, okay? So then I would write, made the call, and then 20 minutes. Okay, so then the next time that I have a chance to try, this is what's hard for me. I want to do it all or nothing a lot of the time. I want to just make the call and get the information that I need, get it done, and then move on with my day. And whenever I make my to-do list, tell me if you're also guilty of this. Whenever I make my to-do list, I have 572 items, down, and I just want to check it off and get to the next one. If I can't check off that item, it's so frustrating because I spent all this time. Why can't I check off the item? And now it's hanging over my head. For the next day, I have to call back. But if you have a timeline of trying, you have a visible way to tell that you put effort into this and it matters somehow, okay? So then maybe the next time I have time, a break later in the day or something, then I make the next call, or I write the email with the follow-up, whatever it is that I asked them that I could do on the phone. So then I write that in, and then eventually, I put my end goal, and I actually I have a notebook full of these, and I let myself celebrate a little bit. Hey, you know what? I got to the bottom of that insurance issue. So that's a small example, but it could be bigger things, guys. It could be, you have a child who's really struggling in an area at school, and they're putting in their time day after day with a tutor, or staying after school and getting help from the teacher, whatever it is. You can make a timeline of trying together to give it some meaning, okay? And then maybe they're planning for this test, or maybe they're working at their sport a little bit of extra so that they can get to this game, and maybe, what the goal is. And we don't want our kids' goals to be like, I did this well, or I kicked this many goals in soccer. We want their goals to be around, I did my best. And this little part of the timeline of trying, when I worked on my kicks for an hour, that was part of me getting to this goal of doing my best in this game. So we want all of us to have this idea that it's not just about the actual success from a societal standpoint. It's about just doing your best, putting in your time as you go to make it so that you can do your best and eventually achieve the goal that you're looking for, which needs to be something not based on self-worth, like how good you are at something, but just basically like for my insurance call, it's going to be that I accomplished, got the information I needed, now I can move on. For a kid who's practicing for a soccer game, it's going to be, what do you need in order to prepare the best that you feel like you can? And honestly, guys, kids as young as 4 and 5 years old are able to determine this for themselves. And I always recommend giving it back to the kid. What do you feel like you need to do in order to get to this end goal that you have, which is to do your very best at the game? So there's the timeline of trying. I hope it helps you guys. Let me know what other tips you have for getting through the more mundane or sort of long-term projects that we face as adults and as kids. And I would love for you to like and subscribe and hit the little notifications bell so that you can be the very first to know when I post a new video. Have a great day and make it your best moment yet.